We're going into a $25,000 Google Ads case study, step by step, teaching you what I did right, what I did wrong, and how it can help you. Let's go. Hey there and welcome to today's video. My name is Ricky Hayes. It is a pleasure to meet you. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button and comment, crush it down below to go in the chance to win a 30-minute call with myself announced in the next video. Today's winner will be announced at the end of the video as well. So stick around, get all this value and see if you're the winner. All right, let's get straight into it. So here's how I started. Okay, Google is really important. I know that I sound somewhat boring when I talk about this, but it's really important that Google is all about setup and structure. Okay, if you don't set up Google properly from the beginning and understand the foundations, and I'm going to be doing a lot more work on this because I love Google, then you are pretty much doomed to fail nearly from the beginning. And I know that from experience. I know that from experience myself, and that's what this case study is going to be a lot about. Been doing over $1,000 a day, okay, and was profitable, but made a lot of mistakes where I could have made a lot more money by following setup and structure. All right, Google is not like Facebook. I want to be very clear like that. Facebook is a tool that most people use because it's much easier to get the hang of originally. All right, you don't need to know near as much as you do about Google as you do Facebook, but Google can garner much more consistent and greater results by understanding that it's about setup and structure. Okay, this is simply because Google takes 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, all right, so you set it up and Google's going to take 1 to 2 weeks before it starts getting good results generally. It depends on a lot of factors, of course. However, generally, it's going to take 1 to 2 weeks at least. Most of the time, Google actually says 30 days. This is exactly the reason why most people don't actually do Google. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you should also acknowledge that as building a business, building a brand, whatever, diversification is one of the key elements to consistency in your business and being able to scale to another level that other people aren't. Because our goal nowadays is the cheapest cost per purchase, which is always how it's been. But now it's very, very important because of the rise in competition. Because Facebook is such an easy to use tool. At the end of the day, Facebook is pretty easy to use. You just choose interests, you make an ad and you go out. All right, and then you see the results. Whereas with Google is all about the setup. Facebook doesn't have near as much setup. Like it literally has probably 5% of the setup that Google does. So that's why I speak so very detailed about this. So if you don't have Google structure set up, your optimization again is likely to fail. Make sure that you have your conversion tracking set up. Now you can use the Google Shopping Feed app, so you can do shopping ads, of course. But one of the recent ones that I've learned is you can actually just integrate with Google Analytics. All right, now it's really important if you are doing that, it's super easy, that in Google Analytics that you make sure you have e-commerce enhance enabled. And if you haven't, you just go under settings, okay, and then e-commerce goals, and then you enable it. If you're running a Shopify store and you put your Google Analytics tag, okay, in that field, there's a little tick box. And if you tick that tick box, that should turn it on. But in a lot of cases, it doesn't. So make sure that's turned on. Otherwise, what's not going to happen is by default, Google Analytics is optimized for lead gen because most actual businesses actually are lead gen. Okay, lead gen is a bigger industry as a whole than e-commerce. Okay, because e-commerce is retail, which is a large industry, but you think of like how many industries do lead gen, and that's just how it works. So that needs to be enabled to begin with, okay, and that's super important. And then you can create your conversion goal. It means you don't need to put any actual code on your store because you've already got the tag, which is pushing all your data to analytics, okay, and then that tag being 100% correct, because I love analytics, it's one of my favorite tools, is bound to your conversion goal, which does your conversion tracking of sales, your dynamic, how much that sale attributed to, so on and so forth. I could go into an entire lesson just about tracking tags in Google. That is how in-depth it is. With Facebook, again, I want to reassure you that with Facebook, pretty much people, you just put in your pixel and then you're done, right? That's all people do. Google, the sky is the limit, okay? I'm not even scratching the surface of what you can even do there. Anyway, So moving on, make sure you have a Google Merchant Center, okay? Make sure you have your Google Shopping Feed app, okay? That costs I think it's $3.99 a month for 50 products, so absolutely nothing. In your Merchant Center, I've gone into this in a previous lesson. Make sure you have your shipping set up and your taxes. Shipping needs to be set up based on every country. You cannot do a universal shipping, so you need to do one US, one Australia, blah, blah. And it makes sense anyway. Once you set it up, it's done, unless you want to change what your shipping rates are, okay? You have to have your taxes set up, otherwise your ads won't show as well. For most of you, just configure it as no tax nexus is what it's known as. One of the things, again, that I'm going to be speaking about, that one of the faults that I made was having your campaigns in a structured sense. So it's really important that you understand how Google works on a very broad basis. It has 3 levels: campaign, ad group, and ad level. It's the exact same as campaign, ad set, and ad level with Facebook, but just slightly different wording, basically. Whereas with Facebook, you mainly make your campaign name and then ad sets and then your ads in it, okay? Google, you do much the same, but you really need to have like proper naming conventions in place, because with Facebook, we're just using interests and LLAs, whereas with Google, you're using keywords, and you're going to make a lot of ad groups, okay? So you're going to make a lot of ad groups targeting different keywords if you're running search, because that's really important, because you want to tailor it to the customer. Now, I've made a whole free course on this. There'll be a link in the description below, okay? In fact, there's a whole playlist of Google videos that I recommend you go and watch. I'll put a link in the description down below. Please go and watch them. Google is really, really important. So again, you want to name your ad groups properly. So if you're targeting a specific keyword, right? So let's say Ricky Hayes is a god. And thank you, I agree that Ricky Hayes is a god. I might target 3 different keywords of types: broad match modified, broad match, phrase match, and exact match. And so I'm going to make ads centered around those keywords. And why you do that? Really important. 1, relevancy score. Quality score is far more important than the quality score on Facebook. In fact, it's probably one of the most important, right? And you're going to learn that over time. 2, it really helps with reducing your CPCs. And 3, it helps with increasing your CTR and conversion rate. It makes a massive difference. It's no joke to say that on Facebook, most people sit on about anything around 2% CTR is considered really good CTR. Google, you can easily get, on average, most of my ad groups, whether they're getting conversions or not, a 5 to 10% CTR. Massive, massive difference with much cheaper CPCs in much higher competitive niches. Okay, I've just started running a campaign at the moment about that and spent like $15, and the CPCs is $1.10, and that's in Australian. So if it was in US, because I'm marketing to the US, it'd be about 80 cents. 80 cents to a highly competitive keywords, getting on average of about 7% CTR. No conversions yet, but that is amazing. And all I did was make some simple ads. It's really important as well. I really want to explain that you should always have with the general rule with any Google campaign, if you can, is make 3 ads. Google, in fact, recommend this, and it'll dynamically rotate between them. Okay, so that's how I started as well. Now, the next important part as well is make sure you have the right bids. Always start as manual bid. Most of us are going to be running shopping, and that's what this case study will be primarily about. I've learned a lot more since doing this, so that's why I'm a lot more detailed about it. But start at manual bid. You always start at manual bid. You don't have any conversion data. Google is not like Facebook where you can go straight for purchase. No, you have to start manual bid, because think of it like this. You got manual bid, eCPC, TROAS, or target CPA, target cost per acquisition, or target ROAS. As you move up into these automated bids, they're automated, okay? And as a result, you're going to get fewer impressions. You can get a higher conversion rate, and it can be more automated. But if you do it from the beginning, it won't have any data to use to determine who to try and target that's going to convert, right? So it's really important. Always start manual bid. Tip number 1 right there. And also just make sure that you've applied your promotional code under your discounts dashboard in Shopify. It gives you $100 off, okay? $100 for free. So make sure you please do that. Google will even recommend it to you as well. That's $100 that you should 100% use. So let's move on. All right, so you can see here that this was around, like, we're scaling this, and then we've moved on just because of other things going on. Anyway, but we can see that around from started March, scaled quite high, and then scaled down because of other business approaches, and there was just some issues, so moved on. But you can see here that $27,000 for $12,000, okay? Now, I made a lot of mistakes, okay? I made a lot of mistakes doing all of this, 758 conversions as well, and this could have been much higher, okay? We're scaling using Facebook ads, and using this as well for a lot of remarketing, and also scaling using shopping and search. But I didn't know what I did now, and that's why I try and teach. Like, I really, like, we can see we pretty much stopped it around that date, but I've really taught myself to learn a lot more about Google, and that's why I want to be so honest and transparent. I made a lot of mistakes here. The problem with Google ads is it can somewhat be a bit inflated. So I think we spent that for just over 2. So I don't think it's like 2.2. It's just over 2. Sometimes it gets inflated. So I'm not going to lie about that. That's just the reality of it. We've got hundreds of conversions and could turn these back on now and get conversions. It's just not worth our time. I'm moving on to other projects and ones that excite me a lot more with using Google ads. And I want to do it right from the beginning. And that's why I'm starting fresh for those wondering. But you can see here, like, hundreds of conversions. And I didn't know much about Google. Like, I know quite a lot compared to most people, but I didn't know a huge amount. All right. So don't be daunted by Google. As I said, it's all about setup and structure. Once you understand that setup and structure and then keywords, you can do anything in Google. Okay. Really, really important to keep that in mind. I really want to reassure you. So what did I do right? So what I did right was I did remarketing. All right. So if I pause this. All right. So you can see here, this is a brand search campaign. All right. And $600 for 2.7K back. Okay. Now, a lot of this was, again, over time, it would have done better because it was running for a few months, but I didn't know how to optimize campaigns as properly as I do now. So what I mean by that is you're going to have your keywords, but then you have like your structured snippets, you have your call out extensions, you have your call extension, and then you also have site link extensions and all of that to help with increasing this. Okay. Brand search, I have a video on it. It's in the playlist. Watch it. It's going to help you crush it. And if you optimize it properly, you can really, really push numbers high. So what I did right was I definitely set this up because this brought in a lot of extra money. And brand search, you'll actually find a lot of the times it's not accurate. I actually found a lot of sales attributed to it that weren't in Google ads. So you should always, and I will be doing a bit more teaching on it in the future, look at using Google Analytics. Google Analytics is by far one of the most underused, but the best tool out there. It's an entire tool, 100% dedicated to analytics, nothing more. All right, and it has the analytics of any type of campaign that you ever run: email marketing, Facebook marketing, Google ads, SEO. You can nearly do anything in that tool, and that's why I speak so much about it. The real businesses that make a lot of money are brands just using Google Analytics to really understand, oh, well, did this shout out do much better as opposed to this one? And so on and so forth. And that's what I'm going to be working on. A lot of more organic and using UTM tracking to understand what campaigns are doing well, what SEO backlinks and so on and so forth. That stuff's pretty advanced. So I'm not going to get too much into it. You can see I also ran a number of other campaigns. All right. And this is where search is so very powerful. Okay. But it can be very, very scary. If we have a look here, so the cost is K, and what's the conversion value? Sorry. Conversion. Oh, thank you. So, okay, I did well. Anyway, so I didn't even realize. I thought I did worse. But anyway, so you're sitting here, what? That's like 2.4 ROAS. I have no idea. And we can see the number of conversions, 80. Okay. Now, again, a bit inflated, but still profitable. And I could have done this much better. One of the things, as I said, I learned, and I sort of teach it in my course, and also in my paid course, that is, as well as in my video, in the playlist down below, is structured campaigns. One of the things I didn't do properly here was structured campaigns. I could have turned that, I reckon, 1.4K into probably 5, 6, 7K quite comfortably if I knew the proper process. And I'm still learning a lot of this process now, but if I knew it better, I would have been fine. So search, especially, structure is so important. Okay, with search, structure is important. Why is that? Simple. Search gets you the most results, period. Okay, if you can scale in search, you can scale to insane numbers. Why? Because that's what Google's about, search. Okay, Google Shopping, which most people use, is just a sub area of Google, and it works very damn well. However, it's not the primary goal of Google. When you go on Google, do you go to look at shopping by default? No. You go on Google to type in questions, to look for products, to look for businesses, whatever. So Google's primary objective is search. Okay, and that's where big businesses doing big numbers will be using search. And in order to use search properly, we need to understand how to structure our campaigns. Part of structuring the campaigns is so important by understanding keywords and buyer intent, okay, and where they are down the funnel. Let me give you a quick example. Let me just give an example, okay. I get a sore back while at work on my chair. So how to fix a sore back? How to fix a sore back on my chair at work, right? That's a question. We're looking more for a YouTube video, maybe a blog post, what is it, Quora, Yahoo Answers, of someone trying to just give us feedback on how we can try and fix it. All right, so that is a type of keyword. That's a phrase match to begin with, and that's a type of keyword that someone's going out there looking for an answer. But that's not the type of customer we want, is it? Because we're an e-commerce store. So that type of keyword's not relevant. It still may work, but it's highly likely to not. They're showing more an awareness / interest in that word, but they're not showing an interest in buying. Whereas, let's say, buy office chair. 100%, that is showing intent to buy. All right. So really importantly, understand these keywords, because if you don't understand these keywords, you're going to rank for a lot of keywords that are not relevant. And 99% of the time, people are going to end up killing their campaigns. They're going to kill their campaigns because they're like, no, it's not profitable. Whereas if they did a full audit and actually looked at the keywords that are doing crap, they're ranking for keywords that are crap, spending money on crap. And of course, they're getting crap. It's as simple as that. So it's all about structure. And if you set it up wrong from the beginning, well, then you're going to fail. And that's where I made a lot of mistakes. I was still able to do quite well because I already understood Google very well. But if I did it again, then I would do even better. What my core objective is, I want to go 100% Google. Between you and I want to go 100% Google. Because I love Google. It's all about structure and consistency. And I'm all about structure and I'm all about consistency. I have autism. I'm high functioning. Anyway, but I'll leave that up to your interpretation. But I love structure and consistency because I want to set up something, know that it's working, know that I'm going to get consistent sales, so that then I can focus on growing the business rather than putting out fires every day. And that's why I speak so much about structure, consistency, continuity, because that will always work out in the long run for you more so than trying to make a short, quick buck, which is always going to make maybe a quick buck, but it's not going to last you forever. Right? So if you're interested, I might do a bit more on search down below. Tell me down below if you do want more on search. But the primary other thing I wanted to speak about, so let me know if you want search. Display ads. So display ads for cold traffic or remarketing, but I mainly use for remarketing. Gmail ads, cold traffic or remarketing. And then shopping ads. I know most people want to know shopping ads. So let's have a look at shopping. Okay, so I did a heap of tests, and you can see here this is where most of the money come from, right? Shopping. Shopping is very good. Why? It's a sub niche in Google that it provides that we can show ads on YouTube. We can show ads on the shopping, obviously, network, as well as on the display network. And for those who didn't know, you can do that. And how you do that is predominantly through smart shopping. Okay. Now, as a general tip, you should, or if we have a look at the campaign level. Okay, so we can see here that this is the main shopping one. Spent $5,000 for $9,300. That's expected. Okay, that 1.88. Now, obviously, that's all my products. So it's always going to have a lower ROAS. Obviously, you want it to have higher. Why is it going to have lower? Because I'm ranking for hundreds of products, aren't I? Or it could be, it could be 20 products. It could be hundreds. It could be thousands. So your budget is going to be divvied up between all of those different products based on keywords, impressions, click-through rate, so on and so forth. There's a myriad of variables, okay? And the only way to get tangible data is you have to go out there and spend. Everyone's going to be different because your shopping images could be different to mine, get a higher click-through rate. You might have different keywords, get high impressions for better keywords than me, and get a higher click-through rate and conversion rate. Who knows? I have no idea. But what I did right here was I started with that and then I drilled down. You can see here that the next campaign that spent the most was this one here, smart shopping. Now, it's always recommended that you, in my opinion, don't make a smart shopping until you have a standard shopping campaign and it's spending and getting conversions. We can see here that it has nearly double, probably about 70, 80% higher conversion rate. Why? Why is that? Smart shopping is fantastic because it shows you ads on YouTube as well as the display network and even Gmail ads. Takes a lot of the control away from us because it by default goes to, I believe, target ROAS. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, and it's just going to go aggressively and get that. And it won't work as well if it doesn't know who your customer somewhat is. So that's what I did really well. And that brought in a lot of stats. You can see the cost per conversion was more than halved. All right, more than halved, 3.36, and pretty much nearly doubled the ROAS, because this is your ROAS column. Okay, always hover. If you have any questions, always hover over it. Measures your return on investment. All right, really important that you do that. Really important. So you can see that I've made then a number of other shopping campaigns that have not worked. Some have. Okay, some haven't. We can see just too much. Like, that's ridiculous. Why did I leave that? And I hesitated. That was one of the things that I made that was a big mistake that I've really been trying to condition and teach myself. Kill crap that's not working, okay? And part of the way to kill crap is automated rules. So I'm actually learning more about automated rules for Google and starting to put in more automated rules. So like, kill this keyword if it has 30 clicks and maybe its cost per conversion is over $15. Kill it because it's above what I would want to try and achieve. If this keyword has 30 clicks and it has more than one purchase or more than 5 purchases in the last week and its cost per conversion is less than $10, increase the bid of that keyword by 25%. Right? By using automation, and that can really help you scale for one and also allow you to manage campaigns a lot more effectively. The reality is most people are just doing shopping, but there's a lot more to Google Ads than shopping. It's only one sub area of shopping. Okay, so I did that definitely really well. And overall, it was profitable, but I could have done it much better by using automated rules. I'll be honest, that's something that I'm still learning and phasing in a lot more and want to phase in a lot more because it works so well. I've already said about automated rules with Facebook, which I'm still working on and adding more, by the way. But I'm trying to now do the same with Google, researching and understanding what ones will work well to save me time, save me money. Because most of us are going to be running campaigns by ourselves, and that's fine because we're limited budget, limited resource, etc. And you make heaps of campaigns. You make, your main shopping campaign, smart shopping, then your single product campaigns. And to manage them all and all the keywords is actually quite time consuming once you are at higher numbers. By having automated rules to help primarily around keywords, keywords and ad groups and stuff can really, really help with your overall time management as well as your profitability. And that's what's really, really important to keep in mind. That's one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made is not using automated rules across my marketing platforms, period. It's something that I've always been a bit scared of, but it's something that now that I understand them a lot more, I'm actively pursuing it because I honestly feel that is honestly the key to success. Think of it like this, all right? Most of us are unfortunately stuck in the winning product phase, trying to find a winning product and scale, okay? But if you build a brand, which is what I always recommend to people anyway, build a brand and let's say you have consistent sales of, 20 a day. You know that you're going to get 20 a day. That's great. That's a great feeling, isn't it? All right, so what you do at that point is it's all about how can I make that 20 sales, maybe 30, or maybe make those 20 sales make me more money. And you do that through automation of apps on the back end of your store, automating your customer service to maybe incentivize people to buy, and using rules to help increase, decrease, turn off, turn on campaigns, ads, ad groups, whatever, to manage all of that. So at the end of the day, you can grow. Maybe, this month you got $5,000 in profit, and then the next month by using rules and letting them help you, you could have increased it to $6,000. Because the hardest part with e-commerce is consistent sales. Okay, and then once you get consistent sales, your objective should always just be, how can I make as much money from these sales as possible? That's it. And that's what I always say is the downside with the dropshipping model, finding winning products all the time on general stores. You're reliant on that. And if it doesn't happen and it dies out, you could have made a lot of money, but then you can lose it all because life is not cheap. Anyway, so moving on. If we have a look here, we can see I got tons of campaigns. Single product campaigns, like that's ridiculous, honestly. But what I did right was definitely the smart shopping was definitely correct. That was the first time I'd ever tested that. If I'm perfectly honest, you can see a much greater ROI. And as I said, smart shopping also you must be dubious of. Some days it can do really well and some days do really bad. But make sure that you always understand one key rule with Google. Once you make a campaign, Google by default optimizes a campaign over a 30-day window, not a 2-day window, not a 1-day window that we're all used to with Facebook. That's been my biggest hurdle, and it should be something that you should all understand. You need to condition yourself if you want to be good at Google. You need to understand that to have successful campaigns in Google, Google technically defines that as over a 30-day window, whereas Facebook, it can be instantaneous pretty much. And that's why, one of the real benefit of Facebook, let's be honest. So one of the other things that I did really well, I didn't test enough, was international Geo Scaling. So these are all to the US. As you can see, the CPCs, this ad account is in USD. So 61 cent CPC. Okay, very, very cheap. And that's on a broad scale. We can see 53 cents. Okay, 53 cents, cheap as chips. That's why shopping works so well. You can also do the same with search, but you require a lot more time and effort and management to achieve that, but you can scale much higher as well. So that's definitely something I did very, very well. Remarketing was also something that I didn't do that well in this ad account. Why? Because I didn't understand enough about the complexities of remarketing. Whereas with Facebook, we make a custom audience and we pretty much just make it and we let it go. With Google, again, it's all about that structure. We need to upload images. And so it's better to make, one of the things I did was I made remarketing campaigns based around all my products, which is not something that I would do in the future. I would much prefer to make multiple display campaigns, display ad remarketing campaigns based around single products. Especially if I'm remarketing and it's a winning product, I want to tailor that winning product to the customer, not a generalization. Okay, I would more do that if I'm doing cold traffic, or if I'm trying to do remarketing for my whole store, I would do dynamic remarketing ads. But I want when dynamic remarketing ads work very well with a niche store, might I add. But with display ads, it's definitely best that you make custom audiences. Okay, which is something that I teach again in my course, but if you're interested, I might make a video on it in the future. Just comment down below what areas of Google you want to learn the most. Just give me an idea. And then basically from there, you want to make two different ads at least for display ad remarketing. Remember, display ad remarketing is primarily based on imagery and then the headlines. So you want to make the images quality that relate, okay, and help with getting good click-through rate, because like these ads are going to show as banner ads and stuff on news.com.au or something, right? So you want them to be optimized for those placements. So that's where Google is, again, a lot of structure. You probably need a graphic designer. I use one to make all the different placement types, like rectangle, horizontal rectangle, square, and there's a lot of different types. And you can even do videos, and that's something that I'm venturing more into. That was one of the key areas that I didn't do well enough in this ad account, was understanding those core factors. So please don't make that mistake yourself. My recommendation there, when you're starting out and you have your winning product, primarily just focus on display ad remarketing for a single product. If you have multiple products, then just do display ad remarketing for multiple products. As you scale further, do dynamic remarketing, okay, and dynamic display ad remarketing, okay. That's something I'm still learning because it's a bit more of a manual process, but on Google it can work extremely well, okay. So I just wanted to be honest and transparent about all of that. One of the other last parts I didn't do well enough was increase and decrease of bids based on different areas in the campaign. This is where it can be very time consuming. So you got things like you can see here, you got your placements, you got your locations, you got your ad schedule and devices. You can actually make bid adjustments based on the results of what they're getting. So if we go into all products and we go into devices, you can see I did a bit, but I didn't do it well. I didn't understand how to do it properly. But you can see here that this could have done much better. This had 3 conversions, 3.8, but it was not doing as well. Okay, and I should have been optimizing these better, more as opposed to at the device level, more at the item ID level, at the product groups and stuff like that as well. So make sure to keep that all in mind for doing, and that's where you can actually run automated rules as well to really help mitigate and manage all of this as well, to really maximize. So like what I should have done is, although this one was the best, this one should have actually by default actually been a 10% increase, because a much cheaper cost per conversion as opposed to the others. So clearly on computers, people were buying more. Lower CTR, but lower CPC generally, but a higher conversion rate with a cheaper cost per purchase. So it's really important that you have a look at that data to give you a bit better of an idea about what you've done right and what you've done wrong, especially in shopping. Because in shopping, you pretty much just upload the products, and then it's just optimization of the products themselves, and then the various devices, locations, and stuff as well. With search, you can do a lot more than that. And in display, you can do a lot more than that as well. You can even lock it down based on different websites that are converting much better than others. But for stuff like that, generally I've found that Google Analytics does better with understanding that core data. Google Ads is going to show you the data and allow you, but Google Analytics is going to give you a lot more in depth than Google Ads will ever do. Okay, so that's pretty much the truth of the situation. Obviously did quite profitable and did a lot of things right. Found the winning products, and this is where one of my strategies is that when I teach students, what you do is you market on Facebook like you normally would, and then you have like a shopping campaign set up on Google. It's autonomous because it's pushed automatically into the merchant center, automatically into your shopping campaign. It cycles through, and I've had a number of students that haven't done as well on Facebook, but do good on Google without even doing anything. They've just been focusing on Facebook, and they're like, wow, Google is actually doing quite well for me. And now their focus has just shifted across to Google, because it's like, well, so all these winning products didn't work on Facebook at all, but they work on Google, and I'm making money. I mean, I might only be making $100 a day or in profit or whatever, but that's $100 a day. And so that's why I talk about diversification. The reality is most of the winning products that you find are winning products, but there's a big difference between it being a winning product for someone and you. Okay? And that's why using Google is pretty untapped. And you can also use Bing. Okay? I'm using Bing as well. Using Bing and Google are actually very similar. Obviously different, but similar. And so you should always be keeping that in mind. Let me know if you're interested in learning a bit about Bing as well down below. And for my course students who are watching this, don't worry, I'm planning to add more of this to the course. I've got a number of videos there, so just be patient with me. So yeah, that's just my recommendations there based on my experience. Always start with shopping. Okay, I recommend everyone start with shopping, get a hang for it. And what I do is start with shopping, start to validate, start running smart shopping, start running remarketing. So get up your shopping campaigns and start your remarketing as well. because if you have a winning product on Facebook, it'll nearly help you bring in a lot extra sales doing remarketing on Google as well. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today. That concludes today's $25,000 Google Ads case study. I hope it has been very helpful for you. Make sure you check out the notes down below to help you out as well. In the descriptions also today's winner, so don't forget to contact me, and in the pinned comments. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you want to enter the competition for the winner in the next video, comment crush it in the comments down below. I'd really love some more feedback on if you are liking these videos, and if you want more videos like this, and tell me the types of videos you want. Google display ads, Gmail ads, search ads, keywords, conversion rate, landing pages, Bing ads. There's a myriad of topics out there that I really want to help teach you all. I really am also trying to make my channel a lot more, I've decided, advanced. It already is, but I really just want to make it a channel that's centered around proper education. I've really decided I really want to help people get that next level with proper education, and I think Google Ads and branding is definitely one of the keys to your success in doing that in 2019 and beyond. In addition to this as well, don't forget to check out the other links down below for free cheat sheets. I updated it about a few weeks ago of winning products. Make sure that you subscribe to my emails as well as my messenger for more daily value, all 100% free, and join my Facebook group as well. It's 100% free. So I hope you did enjoy today's case study. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you take care, and goodbye.